I'm Satori Shakur, and here's what's ahead this week on One Detroit Arts and Culture. Let's celebrate Jazz Appreciation Month. We look back at segments from April 2021 when jazz pianist Alexis Lombre talked about her album, and Chris Collins on the 2021 JazzFest, plus the DSO's plans for when audiences came back to Orchestra Hall, and learning more about Islam at the beginning of Ramadan. It's all coming up this week on One Detroit Arts and Culture.
From Delta Faucets to Behr Paint, Masco Corporation is proud to deliver products that enhance the way consumers all over the world experience and enjoy their living spaces. Masco, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support for this program is provided by the Cynthia and Edsel Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit Public TV, the Kresge Foundation.
The DTE Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public TV, among the state's largest foundations committed to Michigan-focused giving. We support organizations that are doing exceptional work in our state. Visit dtefoundation.com to learn more.
Business Leaders for Michigan, dedicated to making Michigan a top 10 state for jobs, personal income, and a healthy economy. Nissan Foundation, and viewers like you.
Hi, I'm Satori Shakur. Welcome to One Detroit Arts and Culture. I'm excited you're with me during Jazz Appreciation Month here at the oldest jazz club in Detroit, Bert's. It's spring, and we're all looking forward to festivals and outdoor concerts. Coming up, Chris Collins shares plans for last year's JazzFest with John Penny from WRCJ. And Christy McDonald spoke with Detroit Symphony Orchestra Vice President Eric Ron Mark about heading back to Orchestra Hall. Then April marks the beginning of Holy Month of Ramadan for Muslims around the world. We'll take our religious diversity journey to Bloomfield Township and learn more about Islam. We're starting off with jazz pianist Alexis Lombre. She's based in Detroit and Chicago and graduated from the University of Michigan just a few years ago. Her talent and hard work makes her a standout among jazz veterans. One Detroit's Will Glover caught up with Alexis about the inspiration behind her single, Come Find Me.
How's everybody doing? I grew up with, jazz was always loved in my family. It was loved deeply by my grandparents. And that love passed down to my mother, and then she passed it down to me. I first started playing piano when I was 9. First it was classical training. So I started classical, then for 2 years, and I went to jazz. And I did both at the same time. And then my classical teacher was like, you need to pick one. And I was like, I'm picking jazz, bye. What you're praying. I'm originally from Chicago, but I went to University of Michigan. I just graduated there. So and while I was there, I realized I was close to Detroit, and I, just went to jam sessions and, started getting gigs, and Detroit was really welcomed me so easily. It was so easy just to, and such a warm family environment. I mean, Detroit and Chicago are really like sister cities in a lot of ways. So Detroit in my development, lots of times while I was studying at University of Michigan, I was also being I don't know if saxophonist Wendell Harrison, he's a Kresge artist. I just practiced at his house, and he would give lessons, and, many other mentors, Marion Hayden.
Talk to me about this new single and why you named it Come Find Me. What was the inspiration behind it? Take me through a little bit of the thought process of Alexis around this.
Well, I started writing this song while I was in college at University of Michigan. we started writing it in the practice rooms. And I took it to my friend, producer Eddie Burns' house back in Chicago, and he put this kind of like hip hop R&B beat onto it. And before that, I've never even really performed non-jazz originals in public, so I was kind of terrified, like, oh my gosh, like
Right.
my fan base is gonna hate me. I'm doing something different. But melody and lyrics kind of come together. So "Come Find Me" was just there. Like when I figured out the melody, those lyrics were there. But I was wondering like in what context it was. So at first I was writing the lyrics and it was like about this dude, like, come find me when you want to treat me right and you want to act right. And then it started turning around. Like I had this kind of spiritual session. You know, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. And it just kind of ended up being a conversation between me and God saying, come find me.
What advice do you have for people who are just starting out, or what advice can you pass on that you've received?
I guess the best thing I would honestly say is to know yourself, you know, and to get to know yourself and realize like how much of yourself do you know? Because once you know yourself, you can know what kind of decisions you want to make, what kind of people you want to be around, and you can start visualizing where you want to see yourself. But if you don't know yourself, you're just kind of like a summation of everybody around you. And if you're not around all the right people all the time, then you're just kind of drifting in the wind.
If you want somewhere to go, a place you can call home. Come find me. Got to find some peace inside before you lose your mind. I'll be waiting.
We'll hear more from Alexis at the end of the show. As you know, April marks Jazz Appreciation Month, and a lot of music fans are looking forward to JazzFest this year. I know I am. Back in September, Detroit Public Television teamed up with other media partners to broadcast and stream the event to music lovers around the world. John Penny from WRCJ spoke to Detroit Jazz Festival Creative Director Chris Collins about last year's lineup.
I'm John Penny from WRCJ 90.9, here with the president of the Detroit Jazz Festival, Chris Collins. It's great to see you.
You too, John. What a pleasure.
And I have to say, I was thinking about it, and actually, you were one of the very last people that I actually saw face-to-face without a mask at last year's virtual festival, which once again, I'm going to say I call the Miracle at the Marriott. Because what you guys were able to pull off in a very short period of time was just masterful.
You know, we had two aces in the hole. One was, we are one of the very, very few no admission festivals and one the largest in the country. So we didn't have a ticket profit to worry about losing. And secondly, we've been working on our media streaming and broadcast technology for about 4 years now, which we already had in the can with the help of DPTV and WRCJ and other media partners. So we had that going for us. And in the end, the real heroes of all that were the craftsmen and the creativity of those craftsmen in our community, because I remember drawing stages, because we had to build the custom sound stages. They didn't exist, as you know, on napkins and stuff. And then we created, computer realizations and had that all kind of ready. But when we pulled the trigger, we had over 425 crew, staff, and artists involved. I'm happy to say 3 months afterwards, not a single case of COVID, because we had, as you know, extensive safety protocols. And in the end, when we got the metrics, we reached nearly 1 million people in 32 countries, which I think was a beautiful thing for Detroit.
Can you tell us about the lineup for this year's festival?
First of all, I love to talk about what our artist in residence, Dee Dee Bridgewater, is doing. Dee Dee has been committed to raising awareness of the strong women leaders in jazz of all generations. And she has a number of programs throughout the country where she trains young women artists, and she brings them together in different ensembles. And we're going to see the output of that in many ways. On Friday night, she'll be opening the festival with her the Woodshed Ladies Ensemble. And this is an ensemble she's put together from one of her very particular programs that brings different generations of really strong musicians together to perform some new music and some new arrangements. She'll be closing the festival with a big band of her all-female big band that again brings people, young ladies from all over the country together to perform with her. We're also going to have on opening night something everybody will appreciate, all new music by the great Herbie Hancock. So you're going to Friday night start with our 2021 artist in residence, and then the great Herbie Hancock with some of his new music and a new ensemble. Great way to kick it off for sure.
You think?
And then throughout the festival, as always, a smattering of artists from all different genres of jazz. You'll hear musicians that are from like Anat Cohen's new 10-net, which is really sophisticated, beautiful stuff. And then you'll hear artists who are younger that you may have never even heard before. It'll be a surprise, and that's a big part of Detroit Jazz Festival. So you walk around the corner and you hear something going on at a stage, and you end up sitting there for the entire set because it's so fresh and clean, mixed with some of the great masters of the music.
Chris Collins, I can't thank you enough for taking time to talk to us today. It sounds like you're very busy, and we're really looking forward to the festival coming up this Labor Day weekend. Whether it's going to be virtual or live, we'll keep our fingers crossed for live, but whichever way, I have no doubt it's the Detroit Jazz Festival after all. It's going to be awesome. Chris Collins, president of the Detroit Jazz Festival, thank you so much.
More arts and music organizations are trying to figure out what the fall season will be like. In 2021, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra finally brought audiences back into Orchestra Hall. Christy McDonald spoke with the DSO's Eric Ron Mark about how they would go about doing it safely.
Give us an idea, Eric, of the conversations that have been going on recently behind the scenes that got you to make this decision and really this big announcement.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head there, Christy. Hope. Arts and culture, I think, is here to provide people with a sense of hope. And that has been on our minds since we started talking about what we could do this season even. We had a lot of conversation last summer about coming back and doing something in our hall, but we didn't know what we were going to be allowed to do, how this pandemic was going to affect us all. But working together with the musicians of the orchestra, we came up with a great plan, a safe plan to come back and do concerts even this season.
What is the DSO doing to make sure that things are as safe as possible?
As we slowly start to bring audiences in even this spring, and then hopefully coming back to the fall, we're going to follow all the safety procedures as we have during this season. We have great UV filtration in our HVAC systems, and we want to make sure, even to the point of electronic tickets, contactless entries and stuff like that. It's really important for us to be safe. And right now, we could have audiences up to 250 people per the guidelines that are out there now. And that's what we're hoping we can get to as we get later into the spring.
Rewind a year, DSO made the big announcement that Yara Binamini was going to be the music director, and a very exciting announcement at that. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic hits. So 21-22 will really be his first full season. Talk a little bit about the programming that is going involved in that and what audiences can expect to see.
Right, yeah, Yara has been a true champ in this. He actually has been here conducting already 2 times in the fall, and has come here and quarantined safely and conducted the orchestra in 3 different programs this fall, and we're going to see him again in May. And you're going to see a lot of different repertoire, a lot of diverse repertoire, something that the DSO has always been a champion on. is really promoting diverse artists. So out of the whole season, we're going to have a third of the composers next season are going to be living composers. Over 25% are going to be Black composers. And this is something that has been at the core of the DNA of the DSO for 40, 50 years. But we know we can always do more. So there's some great programs. We're going to have Branford Marsalis come here and play a saxophone concerto. We're going to open with the Sibelius violin concerto and large Italian repertoire. And you're going to see Beethoven 9.
With times of great trouble, sometimes we see great transition and great creativity come out of it. What do you think that we're going to be seeing musically in the next 5 years or so coming out of the pandemic, and just maybe some things that we haven't seen before, experienced before?
When you have the time to sit down and think about how do we want to be different, not just as the DSO, but as an industry. And I think the orchestral industry as a whole really, it's been a wake-up moment for us during this year as a pandemic, missing the audiences, but also the social unrest that we've seen in this country, and the focus on diverse composers, diverse artists. I think for us, that's something that we've always done, but we really want to do more. We really want to do more for Detroit, and not just Midtown where we are, but in the city as a whole.
How would you describe it, Eric, to people when they sit together and they consume music together?
Music is an art form that you experience in real time. And so when you come to Orchestra Hall, you and 2,000 of your closest friends are sharing that experience together. And once that concert is over, that experience is gone. No two performances are alike. So it is truly a shared experience that you are living in real time. And I think that's what's so unique about music.
And finally, April marks the beginning of Ramadan. It's the holy month of fasting and prayer for Muslims around the world. So tonight's religious diversity journey is all about Islam. It's a program the Interfaith Leadership Council of Metro Detroit puts on to learn about different religions through the eyes of students. Let's head to the Muslim Unity Center in Bloomfield Township.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. My name is Dima Al-Gamal. I am a member of the Muslim Unity Center Interfaith Committee and a formal board member. The Muslim Unity Center was founded in the early 90s, and there's about 300 families who are members of the Muslim Unity Center. Muslim Unity Center is home away from home to a lot of community members. Maria is going to be our guest today. I invite her through multiple sessions to explore our values and our tradition, the Muslim faith traditions. She will learn about the fundamentals and origin of Islam. She will also learn about the contributions of Islam to civilization, as well as the role of women in Islam, and much more. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Welcome to the Unity Center. My name is Dima Al-Gamal. I'm an Interfaith Committee member. Welcome to the journey. Let's start. This is Patrick and Arif.
Hi, assalamu alaikum, Maria. Nice to meet you.
What are the fundamentals of Islam?
The fundamentals of Islam. Well, Islam is built upon 5 pillars, the first of which is called the testification of faith, the Shahada. And it states that you believe that there is no God worthy of worship except God, one God, and that the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger.
Is Islam a new religion?
Muslims believe that from the time of Adam and Eve all the way up to the present, and continuing through a line of prophets and revealed scriptures, that Islam came as a completion of that chain of revelation.
Who are Muslims?
Muslims represent every race and nationality across the world.
Did you know that not all Muslims are Arabs? Only 15% of the world's Muslims are Arabs.
Here at the Unity Center, you'll find people with origins in the Arab world, from East Asia, from Africa, all over the world.
Hi, what are you doing?
We're just setting up decorations for Eid.
What's Eid?
Eid is the Arabic translation for a holiday And Muslims celebrate two holidays, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha.
How do Muslims celebrate Eid?
They celebrate Eid by gathering at the local mosque for special congregational prayers and services. They give charity to those that are in need. And they also gather with family and friends and celebrate with good food, fun, new clothes, and plenty of gifts.
What do you say to a Muslim during Eid?
We say Eid Mubarak, which means a blessed holiday during both Eids.
How many times do Muslims pray each day?
Muslims pray 5 times each day.
When you see a Muslim pray, you will most likely see them going through different motions. You'll see them standing up, you'll see them bowing down, you'll see them then prostrating. This is the greatest way of showing one's submission to God.
Do Muslims only pray in the mosque?
So for a Muslim, he or she are able to pray anywhere, any place. The moment the time comes in for prayer, they are asked to pray.
This is why some students prefer to pray in a quiet place in school.
Do men and women pray in the same place in the mosque?
The answer is that women are given the option. In the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, women and men prayed in the same prayer hall. So it is permissible Islamically for men and women to pray in the same prayer hall.
Can you tell me about what Islam has contributed to civilization?
That's a brilliant question. As you can see from these 1001 invention posters, that the Muslims contributed to schools, hospitals, the universe, and the Muslim civilization. And this ran from the 8th century all the way to the 16th century. And this was titled the Golden Age for the Muslims.
Can you explain to me why you're covering your head?
Sure, that's a question I get asked often. Islam teaches modesty for both men and women. The Islamic dress code for women is referred to as hijab. So once a Muslim girl reaches the age of puberty, she will cover her body with loose clothing, only showing her hands and her face. And hijab looks different in different parts of the world because it's influenced by culture. And you'll see some of the moms and the daughters outside. Some of them are wearing hijab, some of them aren't, and there might be some subtle differences in the way that they choose to wear hijab.
What is a woman's role in Islam?
So Islam teaches respect for women regardless of what their role is as mothers, daughters, wives. The Quran has many verses and through the prophetic teachings that emphasize respect for women and teaches equality of men and women in their deeds and their spirituality.
Does Islam support arranged marriage?
No, not at all. In Islam, for a marriage to be valid, both the bride and the groom have to give their consent to the marriage, otherwise it's not valid.
Thanks for answering my questions about women in Islam.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for coming today, Maria, and for visiting the Muslim Unity Center and learning about your Muslim friends and neighbors. And hopefully you can come again and bring your friends and your family.
Thank you for showing me around.
My pleasure. Come again. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to find out more about religious diversity journeys through different faiths, just head to our website at onedetroitpbs.org. All right, we're going to leave you with a performance from jazz pianist Alexis Lombre. Enjoy, and I'll see you next week.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.
From Delta Faucets to Behr Paint, Masco Corporation is proud to deliver products that enhance the way consumers all over the world experience and enjoy their living spaces. Masco, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support for this program is provided by the Cynthia and Edsel Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit Public TV, the Kresge Foundation.
The DTE Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public TV, among the state's largest foundations committed to Michigan-focused giving. We support organizations that are doing exceptional work in our state. Visit dtefoundation.com to learn more.
Business Leaders for Michigan, dedicated to making Michigan a top 10 state for jobs, personal income, and a healthy economy. Nissan Foundation, and viewers like you.